walimu nsimu n'omulongofu kubanga ffenna twayonona wabula Kristo eyatulongosa n'omusaayi gwe omulokozi mumusaayi munabe ogunaza mwe buli kibi mwetemuli tukola wataliye munabe mumusaayi gwa Yesu omusaayi gwa Yesu gubanaza nnyo abagwagwa ab'omu mwoyo.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream.
Viewers and listeners, we are excited and we are extremely humbled as well as happy to welcome you once again to this edition. As we always do, we are going to share God's word, and as you well know, this is our time of prophecy. Last time we paused, and we are going to continue from where we paused last time. My name once again is VIAN AHISHAKIYE. It is not my first time to appear before you or before the camera. I have been coming. For those who are fans of our presentations, you have been seeing me. I'm introducing myself, those who have appeared for the first time. We are going to share a word of a prophecy. We started from the book of Daniel, chapter 2. We read other verses in chapter 4 and chapter 5. Now we are still in Daniel chapter 2. We shall also read chapter 7. Having said all this, we are going to humble ourselves for the word of prayer. Then we proceed. Our dear loving Father in heaven, we do appreciate you for giving us this opportunity to gather here to share your word. Let your name be glorified. Give us humble hearts so that we can receive your wisdom. And as we are going to discuss your word, we are unable to explain it because it is hard. But as you authored it, we are willing to be taught by you. You be with us. Bless the listeners and the viewers at the same time. And give us proper explanation that fits the verses we are going to read. At the end of the discussion, when we happen to get proper direction to read us in your heavenly kingdom, we shall glorify your name. This is a humble prayer. In Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. Last time we are still going on with our prophecy of 4 beasts. We started from we read 3 chapters in Daniel. Chapter was 2, chapter 7, and chapter 8. In chapter 2, we read about the great image that King Nebuchadnezzar dreamed about. And in chapter 7, we find 4 beasts that Daniel himself dreamed about, together with chapter
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head while on his bed. Then he wrote down the dream, telling the main facts.
I saw in my vision by night.
In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream.
He said
I was
the false
considering the
beast.
horns.
When they are starting this verse, they are saying that it is a beast, but toward the conclusion of this verse, they are telling us that it is a kingdom. Let me repeat it so that you can pick interest of it. Thus he said, the false beast shall be the false kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms. This is where I wanted you to note. Which shall be diverse from all kingdoms. Now it has shifted from a beast into a kingdom. So this is a beast of our interest tonight. It's one that we are going to talk about. We shall exhaust it. It may not be tonight that we are going to conclude it or to finish it, but as time goes on, as I said, we shall discuss it fully. We are going to read Daniel chapter is 2 still. Daniel chapter is 2. iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken into pieces together and became like the chaff of the summer, threshing flowers. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them, and that the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Still, this one still seemed to be a prophecy, but here this is Daniel giving a description or interpretation of the verses we have read before about the great image that Nebuchadnezzar dreamed about in chapter 2. So Daniel was brought in to give the interpretation of all this. So he said all these verses we have just read here, of which we are not going to repeat, that the stone, after all this, the stone will come, and this stone will not be cast by a human hand, but it will come. It will break the other image of gold, the image that had silver, brass, and whatsoever, and it will not be seen anymore. And as we read in Daniel chapter 7, we said that these are the kingdoms as we read. So this kingdom, this kingdom they are talking about, or this stone they are talking about, that was cast without a human hand, this is a kingdom of Jesus Christ that will not be replaced by any. If we can go through, we find that the stone came directly to the toes or to the feet, and you know that after feet there was no any other kingdom after it. So it means it will not beat, or the stone will not cast onto the head or the chest or where, but down on the, it means literally meaning that by the time when Jesus Christ comes in, there will be no any other kingdom. What does it mean? Jesus Christ will come when the kingdom of Babylon is no longer there, and it is no longer there anyway, even now. Jesus Christ will come when the king of the Middle Persia is no longer there. It is not there still. Likewise, the king of Greece, what was headed by the man called Alexander the Great. The pagan Rome will not be there. Maybe the Christian or religious Rome, which is where we are currently. So it is by that very time, we don't know when, it's where the Christ will find us, on the feet. That's why that stone will just come directly to the feet. It will not come to the head, because the head is no longer. Likewise to the chest, and likewise to the thighs, or to the leg. How I wish you pick my statement. And before we go to explanation, we can first come to the Daniel where we have been. Chapter is 7. Daniel chapter is 7. We stopped on verse 23, but let's go on and read verse 24 and 25. For those who are with us, you can give us your attention, and move with us. Verse 24, Daniel chapter is 7, verse is 24. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And he shall speak, I'm reading verse 25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think of change times and laws. And they shall be given unto his hand until a time and times and dividing of time. Even if I can pause from here, these verses we have just read here, if we are to explain a bit per bit, we can even take like more than 3 hours. But we shall briefly discuss them, as you always on the footnotes of the when we are giving the link, so that maybe if you don't get what you are discussing, you can reach up to us for more details. But we are going to try by all means possible to explain. Verse 24 is saying, anyway, let me read 23 as I go on. Thus said the first beast shall be the first kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it into pieces. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom
before whom 3 of the
But that is not the way how they abuse God. Abusing God is a taking, or is a human being who is taking a place that God can occupy. That is abusing someone. So, even in these countries where we are living, if you next day you just come and you proclaim yourself to be a president, when the sitting president is still there, then you can know what can happen to you. That is treason charges. They can imprison you for the rest of your life. So now here, we are saying that God himself is a most high, and being most high is ruler of heaven and universe. is the creator of each and everything. So if someone takes that authority, that respect that is due to him, that person is abusing God. That is what they call an abuse. In the book of Psalms, I think it is 111, verse 9, it says, He sent redemption unto his people. His name is holy and reverend. For those who will read the King James Version, that's how it reads. Why don't I read it anyway? A book is Psalms 111. Psalms 111. We are reading verse is 9. He sent redemption unto his people. He has commanded his covenant forever. Holy and reverend is his name. This is God. Holy and reverend is his name. So God is reverend. Literally meaning that reverend is most high. So if someone calls himself reverend, he is calling himself God. That is an abuse. This is what we are talking about. As if that one is not enough. Where someone calls himself Monsignor, or other call themselves the fathers. And Jesus said that never call anyone a father, because your Father is one in heaven. That's why we pray, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. So if you call yourself a father, yet we know that our Father is the one who is in heaven, and the person whom you are calling a father is not biological, then that is a serious problem. Those are the abuses that are being spoken there. If we know God is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, He is the one who gives the transfiguration of His people. And in John it will say that if you sin, we have an advocate, who is our Father, who is ready to forgive us. So if someone sits somewhere or stands somewhere and he or she proclaims to be forgiving sins, yet he himself also is a sinner, that is sacrilegious. That is a sin that cannot be forgiven even. So these are few among all the things that are written in that verse of 25 in the book of Daniel, chapter 7, where I have read that this kingdom is setting itself on most high or above God who is in heaven. That is brief, but I can talk about that, but it is not exhausted yet. I may not exhaust it all tonight, since I have other verses I may talk about. But as you still continue for us, or following us, you still get more and more. And where I don't understand fully, as I said, you subscribe, you share, you can comment, you can ask, you can supplement, so that we share it together. We said, and he shall speak great words against the Most High. We have already explained this. And he will, and he shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think change of time. When they say he shall wear out the saints of the Most High, this is the persecution. When you read Revelation chapter 12, it's where you can find it better. Where the saints of Most High were persecuted for 1,260 days. In chapter 11 of the very book, that is Revelation chapter 11 verse 2, they say that 42 months, and 42 month is having 30 days. Just get that simple calculation. Get 42, then times 30. It gives you 1,260 days. These are the days or the years that the saints were persecuted by this beast or the kingdom. It is on. We shall see where it started from. Let's reach there. But before reaching there, then let's finish this verse. And it says, and think to change times and laws. And think to change time and laws. What is time and what is laws? These are two distinct items. Of each item was changed. 1. Laws. When we are talking of laws, we are talking of Decalogue. Decalogue is of 10 commandments. For those who are fans and are Bible students, you will know that in but they were co-ruled by two men. One is Cyrus, another one was Darius. They captured Babylon in 339 up to 331. That kingdom, it ruled almost the entire world. It was ruled, but if you read the Esther or the book of Esther, chapter 4, you find that it is it was stretching from India up to Ethiopia here. It was ruled by these guys after they were succeeded by their sons and grandsons up to the last king called Ahasuerus. You will read it in the book of Esther chapter 4. You find that history there. So still that kingdom was taken over by a great man who was still young, called Alexander the Great, the son of Philip. He died in the age of 32, 31 there because of excess drinking. He died, and his 4 generals, they took over from him. Akasandari, Zimachus, Seleucus, Ptolemy, we've already mentioned them. And for those who have been with us last time, we talked about them. They ruled. And it was now in 168 that pagan Rome took over. It took over before Christ, and even the Christ was born when this pagan Rome was ruling. For those who like reading, let's be with you in Luke chapter is 2 to find to cement this. Luke chapter is 2 verse is 1. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And this taxing was first made when Renius was a governor of Syria, and all went to be taxed, every one into his own city. And Joseph also went up from the Galilee out of the city of the Nazareth unto the Judah, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being greater with a child. They are talking of the when you continue down, you find that Jesus himself was born when this Caesar Augustus was ruling. So that's why, for those who are following us, and we are still on the other slide 3. I hope my producer is with me, and we were seeing that pagan Rome, it ruled from 168 BC, that is before Christ, up to 476 AD after Christ. So it means it ruled before Christ, and by the time when Jesus was born, it continued ruling. By the time when Jesus was born in Palestine, Judea, Bethlehem, the Palestine was under the rule of Roman Empire. It was ruled by the titled man called Caesar. That's why when they wanted to test Jesus, he asked them. They were asking him about the tax and whatsoever. He said that give the Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give God what belongs to God. So by that, Roman Empire, as you know, those Western countries were colonizing. So the Rome had power by that very time. So it had colonized Palestine. That's why even Herod and Pilate were the governors who were ruling on behalf of the Caesars. For those who like histories, you can read, you go and read. And anyway, when you are seeing this image, you are seeing that it is having two legs, as like a human being. So now these two legs literally mean that Rome had West Rome and East Rome. This is what these two legs means. One is East Rome, another one is West Rome. And as I said, it ruled up to that time. So this time it gave it to a Christian or religious Rome. And this religious Rome, it ruled from 538 up to 1798. For those who went to school and studied history 3, European history, at least you are having idea about this, what I'm discussing here. However much I'm not discussing history of European, but at least for those who went there, they have idea about these things. When in 1798, it's about when the man, the president of France by then, called Napoleon Bonaparte, so when he ruled over the King Pius, the Pope Pius VI, 5 who was there by then, he imprisoned him. He sent his soldier, his general called Bathy. He took him into France, and after some time he died because of the coldness. He died in prison. By that very time, the the Roman or the Catholic. By that very time it was already religious Rome. They had already been appointed popes. So the Roman Catholic, it took 131 years without having more authority. It was rotating within the Vatican. It could not go beyond. It was in 1929 when the Benito Mussolini, who was the president of Italy, he called the council to come and press the Pope back. For those who continue for the prophets, it's where you read that I saw that the mortal wound was healed. Mortal wound being the Pope being killed, and the Catholic took 131 years without having a king. Sorry, without having a Pope. And that is what I can talk about it, but it is still much. Only I'm trying to rush to see whether I can redeem the time, and when other more chances given to me, so we shall come and proceed. Then I hope that I'm still with my producer. I can go to the next slide. For the slide 4, we've already discussed about it. Then we've seen, and even in slide 5. Then let's go to slide 6. Okay, we are on slide 6 now. You are seeing that is the other dreadful beast that the Bible was talking about. That is chapter 7. You read it. For those who will get time, you read from verse 1. They said it is a dreadful beast. It is as you are seeing it on your screen. They said the first beast looked terrible. It had iron teeth, break everything to pieces, different from all other beasts. It had 10 horns. We said that 10 horns, they are still signifying or simplifying 10 horns, or 10 horns as well as 10 kingdoms. But when you go to slide 9, my producer can rush there and we explain that together. Then we come to the conclusion of our discussion tonight. On slide 9, it talks about Daniel chapter 7, and you are seeing, for your time being, you will zoom it in your screen when you are watching, but from here we may not zoom it well. We are seeing the 10 horns. These were the kingdoms that were making the Roman Empire. These are the kingdoms that were making Roman Empire by then. We have Romania, we have Ostrogoths, we have Visigoths, we have Franks, we have Vandals, we have Swiss, we have Bulgaria, we have Heruli, Anglo-Saxon, and Lombardy. These are 10 horns. But now we are seeing that in Daniel chapter 7, we say that there was a small horn that came, and when it was coming, it replaced 3 horns. So these 3 horns, we are seeing one is Heruli, Vandali, and Ostrogoth. Why? Why were these kingdoms repressed? Reason being is they never wanted to be ruled by tyranny of the Pope or of the Pope or papacy. They fought, and one kingdom was Heruli, was overthrown in 493. And another kingdom was Ostrogoths. It was ruled out in 534. The last one was Vandals, and Vandals was overthrown in 538. These three kingdoms, they had also president like any other country, but now they were trashed off, they were scrapped off, they were swept. You cannot find them on world map. For those who like reading, if you go to world map, you cannot find Ostrogoths, you cannot find Heruli, you cannot find Vandals. They are no more. They were taken over by the Pope or the Papas. They were there, and they had kings. And the king of Heruli was called Odrasa, and the king of Vandals was called Genesric, and the king of Ostrogoths was called Theodoric. I may not go far of all this, but in 539, it's when the Roman Catholic Church completely overthrown the last kingdom of the Vandals, and that's where the saints of Most High were persecuted. Let's see how they persecuted them. You read with me as we are heading to the conclusion of our discussion. We are reading Hebrews. We are reading Hebrews chapter is 11, verses 35. Hebrews chapter is 11, we are reading verse 35. Women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance that they might obtain better resurrection. And others had trials of cruel mocking. This is what I wanted. Verse 36. And others had a trial of cruel mockings and scourging, yea, moreover of bonds and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were thrown asunder, were tempted, were slain with a sword. They wandered about in sheepskin and goatskin, being destitute, afflicted, afflicted. We are reading tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in desert, and in mountains, and in dens, and in caves of the earth. And all this, having obtained the good report through the faith, received not the promise, God having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. And here we have seen that these people were tormented, were scourged, were imprisoned. For those who like history, once again, you will read the history of Rome, or the imprisonment. Others who like reading, will read the book is called Great Controversy, chapter 2. It's where you read all this history. You continue reading. You see how the people were persecuted. We are persecuted for 42 months. As I said, 42 months. And each month is having 30 days. So get 42 times 30. That is 1,260. So these are the days that the saints of the Most High, we are tormented, we are beaten. They could butcher, they could remove a skin of someone when the person is still moving. And as I said, in 538, So that for those who like reading again, when you read the book of Revelation, chapter is 2, and still you read chapter 2 and chapter 3. They are talking of the church of Thyatira. It's where this persecution started from. Many people were died, even a cruel death. And this death came to stop when Napoleon Bonaparte imprisoned the Pope Pius V. For the fans of history, you know all of this. How I wish we can just come to the conclusion of our discussion tonight. And we ask you to continue liking, subscribing, sharing, and give us your views so that we can come to understand together what the Bible is telling us. We are concluding, and let's conclude from this passage. The book is Great Controversy. I'm reading original page 438, paragraph 2. It reads, "Thus, while the dragon was primarily represents Satan, it is in a second sense a symbol of pagan Rome." Let me repeat as I conclude. Thus, while the dragon was primarily represents Satan, it is in a second sense a symbol of pagan Rome. So pagan Rome is its symbol is that of Satan. Only that, as I said, if we get a chance, we shall come back, if chance is there, to talk about how this pagan Rome persecuted Christians. And it's where almost all the 12 disciples of Jesus Christ died within that Roman Empire, pagan one. Read about the Nero who killed Paul. They are many. They are many. This beast has 2 horns. That is a discussion of another time. They are taking us to Revelation, but due to the interest of time, we may not go far from here. Let's pause from here, and we thank each and everyone who has been following our discussion. Not only this of today, but even other presentation we always upload. You go to our YouTube channel, Okudda Obujja n'Okugolola. Then you subscribe, you like, you comment, so that we can hear from you and you see where we can improve our service. Thank you for giving us your attention. May God bless you. We can humble ourselves for the word of prayer, and we meet again when God wishes. May God bless you. Thank you. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us this golden opportunity once again to talk about your word. We are unworthy to call your name. We are sinners, but you've given us this opportunity to share your word with the people you created in your image. Give us a common understanding to understand what you desired us to understand, so that we can have a preparation to meet you for your second coming. Give your blessing, or undivided blessings, for those who have been with us, for those who watched, who viewed, who shared, who subscribed to our channel, so that we can come together and worship you the way you want. Be with us for the rest of the time we have ahead of us. This is our humble prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Wali munsi muno mulongofu kubanga fenna twayonona wabula Kristo Kristo eyatulongosa n'omusaayi gwe omulokozi. Mumusaayi munabe ogunaza mwe buli kibi mwetemuli tukola wataliye. Munabe mu musaayi gwa Yesu. Omusaayi gwa Yesu gubanaza nnyo abagwagwa ab'omu mwoyo.